We're gonna read A House for Hermit Crab by Eric Carle. A House for Hermit Crab by Eric Carle. The author. The person who wrote the book. A House for Hermit Crab. A House for Hermit Crab by Eric Carle. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean, but it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me? He thought. I must find a new house soon. So look, this is Hermit the Crab's house. So he lives in a shell. So he lives in this shell. Hermit the Crab lives in this shell. And now Hermit the Crab is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that means Hermit Crab's shell is becoming smaller and smaller because he doesn't fit into his shell anymore. So now he needs a bigger shell. So now he needs a bigger shell. Let's see. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside it to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looks so plain, thought Hermit Crab. So look, now it is February. And look, Hermit Crab is looking for a new house. And look, Hermit Crab found this shell right over here. Yeah, Hermit Crab is gonna go in his shell. He's gonna try it to see if it fits. And Hermit Crab fits. And this is going to be his new home. This is gonna be Hermit Crab's home. Yep. So Hermit Crab's home is this shell. So the shells are Hermit Crab's homes. So now, So now this is gonna be his shell, but he thinks this shell is too plain. So let's see what he does. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It is so plain, it needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. So look, Hermit Crab was walking. It is now March. So Hermit Crab is walking in the sea, and he found one of these beautiful things in the water. Sea anemones in the water, and they're so beautiful, thought Hermit Crab. So because they're so beautiful, Hermit Crab asked, can they be part of his shell? So he took one of the sea anemones and put them on his shell. So look, he's taking one of it with his claws and putting it on his shell. Look, he's putting it on his shell. Let's see. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish. moving slowly along the seafloor. "How handsome you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to decorate my house?" "I would," signaled a little starfish, a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. So look, so now he was walking along the seafloor, and now it's April, and Hermit the crab was walking, and he stopped. Yep, and he stopped and he saw some starfish. Some starfish. So he asked the starfish that, "You look very handsome. Does one of you want to come on my shell to make it look more beautiful?" And the starfish said, "Yes, we could come onto your shell and make it look more beautiful." So now he's going to take one of the starfish and add it onto his shell. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. "How pretty you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful?" "I would," creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. So look. So now he passed by some coral. Look. He's passing by some coral. And he told the coral, "You look so beautiful. Can one of you be part of my shell?" And they said yes. So now he's gonna put some coral on his shell. So now he's gonna have 3 things on his shell now. He's gonna have the coral, the starfish, and the sea anemone. He's gonna have 3 things on his shell now. 3 things. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They gazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris, and leaving a neat path behind them. "How tidy and hard-working you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to come and help clean my house?" "I would," offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. So now it is June. So Hermit Crab was walking and he found some snails, and the snails were hard at work. So all these snails were hard at work. They were working hard. Look at all these snails. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look at all these snails. They're hard at work. And Hermit Crab sees them hard at work, and he says, "Can one of you come and help me clean my shell?" And they said yes. So they're gonna go and help Hermit Crab clean his shell. Yes, so now Hermit Crab is gonna have a snail on his shell. Now he's gonna have 4 things on his shell. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. "How fierce you look," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to protect my house?" "I would," answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. So look, now it's July, and he passed by some prickly sea urchins. So these sea urchins have sharp and prickly needles. So Hermit crab needs them for protection. So no one touches his house or no one steals his house. So the sea urchins, since they have pointy needles, they're going to protect his house. Yeah, they're gonna protect his house. So Hermit crab is asking them, can one of you protect my house? Because you're pointy. So no one would want to touch it or else they would get really hurt. So he's gonna take one of the sea urchins and have them protect his house. In August, Hermit crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. It's so dark here, thought Hermit crab. How dim it is, murmured the sea anemone. How gloomy is it, whispered the starfish. How murky is it, complained the coral. I can't see, said the snail. It's like nighttime, cried the sea urchin. So look now, it is August. A hermit crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. Look. So look, they wandered into the forest of seaweed. And it looks so dark. Yeah, look. Do you think they're gonna go in? You think they're gonna go into the forest? Let's see if they're gonna go into the forest. Let's see. Let's see if they're gonna go into the forest. Let's see. Into the seaweed forest. Let's see if they're gonna go because it looks really dark for all of them and they don't know if they should go in. Let's see. In September, hermit crab spotted a school of lantern fish darting through the dark water. How bright you are, said hermit crab. Would one of you be willing to light up our house? I would, reply the lantern fish as it swam near the shell. So now it is September, and as hermit crab is walking, he found a lanternfish, and the lanternfish is very bright. So now, when hermit crab goes to dark areas, hermit crab will not be scared because he's going to have a lanternfish to light up the way, to light up his way. So the lanternfish will light up his way. In October, hermit crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. How sturdy you are, said hermit crab. Would you mind if I rearranged you? Not at all, answered the pebbles. Hermit crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. Now my house is perfect, cheered hermit crab. So then, in October, hermit crab was walking and he found some pebbles. And he asked the pebbles, can I rearrange you? So that means, can I fix you in a way that I would like? So now hermit crab is going to rearrange the pebbles so they can protect his house. So now they're going to protect his house because he's going to build a wall with those pebbles. Hermit crab is going to build a wall with these pebbles. He's going to build a wall to protect his house. But in November, hermit crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little, over the year, hermit crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lantern, and even the smooth pebbles. They have been so good to him, thought Hermit Crab. They are like a family. How can I ever leave them? So now it is November. And now Hermit Crab needs to find a new home because now his new shell that we saw in the beginning of the book, the big shell that he found, is becoming small because now Hermit Crab is becoming big because now a whole year passed and now Hermit Crab is too big for this shell. But Hermit Crab is sad because he's going to miss all his friends on the shell.
But the other one going to stay.
Let's see.
And going to protect them. Yes.
In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. I have outgrown my shell, he said. Would you know of a place for me? I have outgrown my house too, answered Hermit Crab. I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends. I promise, said Little Crab. So now it is December. And now, as Hermit Crab was walking, he found a smaller hermit crab who outgrown his shell. And the little hermit crab is asking the big hermit crab, do you know where I can find another shell that I could make my home? And Hermit Crab says that the little crab could take his shell. So Hermit Crab is going to give his shell to the little hermit crab, and he's telling him to promise to be good friends to everyone on the shell. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. Wouldn't stay in the little shell forever, said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought, barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. So look, now he found another shell.
That's a huge shell.
That's a big shell.
Bigger.
Yeah, exactly, because now Hermit Crab is even bigger than he was before when we started. Yeah, so now Hermit Crab.
Like this big now.
Yeah, so
it's
now.
$26.
Yeah, so now Hermit.
I think that's 26.
Yeah, so now Hermit Crab is even bigger than he was before when we started the book. So now Hermit Crab needs an even bigger shell. So now Hermit Crab is going to take this shell, and Hermit Crab thinks to himself, it looks a little plain, but then he thinks to himself, he could add so many things like he did before. So this is going to be his new shell because hermit crabs live in shells. So this is going to be his home. The end.